George Herbert Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
George Herbert Walker Bush was many things. He was a hero of World War II, helped steer America out of the Cold War, but began another war, America's decades-long conflict with Iraq.
Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. These attacks continue as I speak.
In 1989, George H.W. Bush became the nation's 41st president. Under his leadership, the Berlin Wall fell. He sent U.S. troops to invade Panama, toppling strongman Manuel Noriega, and sent them again to drive Iraqi troops from Kuwait. That military operation set up the Second Gulf War, initiated in 2003 by his son, George W. Bush.
One man has the experience.
People will look back at his presidency with great fondness and respect, and they'll also remember that he was the last World War II president.
Bush was born into a life of privilege, largely untouched by the Great Depression. On his 18th birthday in 1942, he joined the Navy. He flew 58 combat missions in the Pacific, was shot down at sea by the Japanese, and rescued by a U.S. submarine, a hero. When he left the Navy, he married Barbara Pierce. They were together for more than 7 decades. His death comes months after that of his wife.
George Bush, the man for the United States Senate.
Bush lost that campaign, but won elections in the House, later becoming an ambassador to the United Nations and then director of the CIA.
George Bush 41 came into office with one of the most golden resumes.
Ronald Reagan.
He served 2 terms as vice president and then finally president.
Read my lips.
But it was that broken promise that came back to haunt him. Bush was dumped after only 1 term for Democrat Bill Clinton. His redemption being only the second American to see his son follow him into the White House. The American flag flying at half-mast at the White House today in honor of the 41st president, and Trump has designated Wednesday a national day of mourning. Now, this all comes despite years of hostility between the current president and the Bush family. Trump has for years criticized the Iraq War, calling it one of America's greatest foreign policy blunders. And during the 2016 Republican presidential primaries, he prevailed over Jeb Bush, that's one of Bush's sons. Now, Bush was a lifelong Republican, but it's said that during the 2016 presidential election, he actually voted for Democrat Hillary Clinton, so the friction was mutual. But the White House says today that Trump plans to attend his state funeral.